I was in a live. I hopped into Quasi's live. It was Quasi, Mike the Patriot, Nat his girlfriend, and then Duchess popped in, and they were
I hate
fucking going
Duchess.
after. But Mike the Patriot, Quasi, and Nat were 3v1ing the shit out of her over shit that because I guess she was trying to call Mike the Patriot out over some shit that he had said about her, and they were just relentless going after
Oh
her.
my gosh.
You know, the
He's awful.
first time I met Mike, Mike wasn't too bad. He seemed like a really decent, hardworking dude. But problem with Mike is he's went into the queue. He's like really deep into that queue stuff, and that's
Right.
the problem with I haven't brought him on because I see him in my box and I know he wants to come in. I think Mike's a decent person, but he's gotten too deep into the Q stuff, and I just think he needs to shake that off, man. And he's too far into that group of set of people, man. They believe in these crazy theories, but I think Mike the person is a good dude, and I get a lot of shit from our side because I'll be friends with somebody. I'll be mutuals with them. That doesn't mean I'm friends with them. It doesn't mean I approve them.
Right.
I mean, like they'll come on and we'll talk. Okay, that doesn't mean I support. It doesn't mean I think I don't like their content, but I think it's important to really do this to try to listen to each other the much as you can. There's some areas that you can't talk to each other on. You're going to be too far apart. But there's a lot of areas
And
that
you're
we can talk
and
on.
you're right about that. Like that's what kind of got me thinking about your and I's relationship. Like, why am I getting mad at him over pro life with exceptions if we all need to band together? So then, that kind of changed my mind. And like just what you just said, like if I can't talk to a conservative, how do I ever turn a conservative into a liberal ever by just having a conversation? I won't. So you're saying don't try? I think it's worth trying.
Yeah, you can
Like,
find legitimate areas where you can. There's lots of stuff, but I mean, like when it comes to January 6th, and I tell them all the time, I'm like, look,
yeah,
I'm not meeting you in the middle here. If you can't look at what happened here and
I was always told that the cool thing about America is every 4 or 8 years we completely overthrow the head of the government, all their staff, the head of every department. We just overthrow it. We don't need the police, the fire, the military. We don't need anything. We're a beacon on the hill for peaceful overthrowing your own government. Not anymore. I can't say that anymore.
it
And
is,
I
man.
learned that in
And, you,
'87.
and Travis, man, this is why I told you, like, even when Roe versus Wade went down, man, I wasn't doing no backflips. I stood there probably I sat in my car staring at my phone for probably about 10 minutes, just like I couldn't believe it actually happened. And
Yep. I
now you
was
see
baffled.
now you see what's like happening in Ohio is
Yeah.
we got this heartbeat bill, and first time they put it up, it sounded like a good idea, but the more you look into it, and now with this, what happened with this 10-year-old who was actually 9 when she conceived,
That is so sad.
there's only an exception in there for if the mother's life's in danger. There's no exceptions for SA or incest, and
Yeah.
That's insane. And that girl was so Kinsey made this point the other day that I never knew because so I'm pro-choice, but my cousin and his girlfriend got an abortion at 19, so I thought it was like what the pro-lifers say it was for convenience. That's what I always thought, and I've learned so much through Kinsey and them. And Kinsey has talked about all the different people who have gone through something in the last few months where it's so dangerous, and there is no help for that.
But
So
it's not just the young
empathy
SA
is
thing though. But it's not just the
empathy
young
is
SA
free.
thing.
I
They
didn't
barely
know a
have
lot
an
of the stuff that was
exception.
going.
They barely have an exception for ectopic pregnancies. There's women that are
Yeah, no,
bleeding
right,
out.
Yeah.
I didn't, like a lot of people, I didn't know all these trigger laws that people, all these states had ready to go. I had no idea that they were sitting there with all these crazy extremist far right, abortion bans. I mean, good
Yeah.
Lord,
You want
dude,
to hear
they're making
something?
it
Oklahoma,
You
illegal.
want to hear
we
something?
Well,
You want to
banded
hear
at
something crazy?
we banded at
Wisconsin's
3:30. We did 3:30 p.m. the day of the SCOTUS ruling. That's how quick our trigger law was. Our AG signed it into action, complete outlaw ban, done at 3:30 the same day that SCOTUS announced.
Well,
The
what's
same day.
disgusting to me is they have such a misunderstanding on what they're actually saying, because North Carolina right now is putting in for their November election the ability to vote on a law where it says that and it's a pro first forced birth law. And basically, what it's saying is if you attempt an abortion, can be charged with the first degree murder. Now, in North Carolina, they still have the death penalty legal, and first degree murder is one of the major things. The other thing that says is that you can use lethal defense to protect yourself or another person, and that includes the fetus. So, if a pregnant woman wants to get an abortion, they can actually unalive that pregnant woman for wanting an abortion.
So, guys, Miss Kinsey has these on her website. Like, this is not a knock at Rudy Aldo, but if anybody wants to buy one, stop saying that you're pro-life. You're pro-forced birth or extremism. I'll be wearing that around Oklahoma. Let's see, and hope I fucking live long enough to enjoy it out in Oklahoma.
Yeah, no. So to Casey's point, she said some of these trigger laws were voted on before women were allowed to vote. So you guys ready to have your mind blown? Wisconsin had a trigger law that they put into place in 1849.
Gee.
Oh my gosh.
Well, did y'all see Ted Cruz's interview over the weekend where he was on CNBC and said that he thinks that Obergefell was done wrong and needs to be redone? So before, on same-sex marriage, Clarence Thomas just wrote about it in his opinion piece on the ruling. Ted Cruz said it out loud this weekend. And I guarantee you it happens. I mean, Rudy, what do you think? You think they actually do it?
Are you talking about
I think so.
getting rid of gay marriage?
Yeah.
I've seen one in Congress where in the House they were told not to openly say they didn't want it. So many Republicans voted for it, but a lot of them voted against it. I think if it goes to the Senate, you're going to see a civil war within the Republican Party where a lot of the hardcore conservatives are going to want to vote their religious way, and then you're going to have more moderate centrist Republicans wanting to vote for it. I will be curious if Mitch McConnell lets it go up for a vote. I think we need to codify. I think we need to make sure that people have the right to marry whoever they want.
We need to codify before the midterms. We have to before the midterms.
We need to make sure that people, because look, no matter how you feel religiously, and I've said this so many times in my life, you cannot take your Christian belief and force it upon 330 million Americans. You cannot do that.
Yep.
It's not right. Yeah. It's not constitutional. I can feel whatever I want, but it's not right to force someone else to feel the same way. And I had to grow on that. I did.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people did. And
I think they'll go after Obergefell, but I think they're going to go after Griswold first and fully eradicate and fully make this become a nation of forced births and do away with contraception.
Didn't they codify that?
I really like
yeah.
and Mark says something I think is the key to us Democrats. We are constantly learning and adapting to be inclusive. It is our counterparts who are automatically exclusive. And I would say if you talk to most liberals, we find a way to include everyone. Even if it's different to us or strange or not our normal way of thinking, we try to include everyone. And they just started exclude. And I think that's a major difference in the two parties. The
Republican Party is the party of me, and the Democrat Party is the party of us.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the biggest
one
difference.
Character trait. I've said it's one character trait, and that's how it ends up there. And it's one character trait: empathy. We have empathy for everybody. They do not. We are empathizing of BIPOC. We are empathizing with
That's one of the biggest reasons I voted for. It's the biggest reason I voted for Joe Biden was empathy. I love the man's
Yep.
empathy. When he walks into a room, you can see he can understand someone, and I'm worried about our president right now. The man has COVID. He had a fever the other
Yep.
day, and he's elderly. You know what I mean? I want the man to be okay. You know,
Yeah.
it's I hope
Have
he
you
can get
heard
through
about
this.
he lost his son, and first wife. He has literally, I've seen interviews where he has given out his personal, this is back when he was a senator, like before VP, gave out his personal cell phone number to families. You can Google this thing. And there were some families that called him because they were going through some stuff, like they lost a son or a loved one. And you're talking about Senator Joe Biden, who served for forever. And because of his life experience, would sit there and talk to you and try to help you get through this because he had been there before. So when people tell me like Biden's a piece of shit or fuck Joe Biden, I'm like, I don't know, maybe other than Bernie, any U.S. senator who would hand out a card and say, hey, I've lost a loved one too, and you're a constituent. If you need something, call me. That's powerful to
He's
me.
just
Like
he's
that.
just he's a good man.
Yeah, he's
There's
just a
there's
nice
something
guy.
there's something that needs to be, a lot of people roll their eyes to that. There's something that I want to be able to look at my president, regardless of who's in there or what party, and know that that person has empathy for the people that they represent and have compassion in their heart
Yep.
for America and the people that they represent. That's huge to me. I
Well, and
like a
that's
guy that has quiet leadership. He doesn't have to walk into the room and be the obnoxiously loud. Quiet, strong
Yep.
leadership is important to me.
and that's what I hope for every politician. And I was bragging earlier in live. I signed has a Democratic candidate for governor, and her name is Yolanda Flowers. And I stand behind a lot of what she's saying, so I signed up to volunteer to help work on her campaign with her. And I was absolutely shocked. So I don't know if you caught, I'm 23. I'm a very young person, and I am very well aware of that. I got an email from
You are
her.
20 years my younger. That's 2 decades. Can you not talk about that on live anymore?
I'm freaking
Every
Jeez.
time,
42
every
now.
time she
Fuck.
does
Oh
that, I
my
remind
God.
her, Travis, every time she does that, I remind her that's my daughter's age.
But I use
Oh,
that because of the fact that I know I'm young. I know I don't know everything. I know I have my own life experiences that I can recall off of, but I know my life experiences aren't everything. But Yolanda Flowers actually emailed me. And I was like, I'm shocked you're even talking to me, because one of the biggest things that drives me nuts is
wow.
when people don't want to listen to the younger adults. And I'm going, hey, we have life experience too. Just because we're fresh out of high school doesn't mean that we haven't experienced life. But I was absolutely shocked because in this email that she wrote me, she wants to talk to me. She wants to set up a time next week to talk to me. And I'm going,
That is,
what?
yeah, that's your good politicians right there. And
Yeah.
we're running out of those slow but sure. We really are. Like, we need Jess to run for office in Virginia. We need Rudy to run for office in Ohio. Like,
You know what's crazy
that would
is
be amazing.
I think it was '04 or '05. I actually ran for Democrat Central Committee member. I got elected. I ran unopposed. It was really cool seeing my name on a ballot. I got like in my area. I got like, I don't know, 80 votes. I won, but it was really difficult. I ran. I won. Then I get it, and I go on this Democrat Central Committee members, and I am like, at the time I'm in my 20s, and everybody on it is in their 70s, and you tell me
Oh, God.
it was pulling teeth trying to get them to do anything new, it got so frustrating. A year into it, I'm like, I'm done. I'm like, I can't, I could, they would not literally do anything to any ideals I would bring to them. Like, I wanted to go to the mall and get people registered. They wouldn't do that. And what's really frustrating? And it was like '04, I think it was '04, '05. We had a really good candidate here in Ohio, and I was helping him with his campaign. I think I would consider him a more of a moderate Democrat himself, and it was going to
Yeah.
be a really close election. and we were going door to door, getting people registered, putting his name out there. And I pointed to the apartment complex, and I said, "Hey, man, there's voters in there. We need to go in there and talk to them." And he looks at me. He goes, "Rudy, people in apartments don't vote. They don't vote." I said, "Yes, they do." And he said, "I'm not going in
Yeah.
there. It's a waste of time." This man literally lost this election by under 100 votes.
Wow.
He lost that election and I was sitting there watching it. I could not believe, and I almost ran for this. I think we're the 88th district. I think he damn near won it, but he lost it, and it was so frustrating because he didn't take the time to go into the apartments and knock on the doors, because those people vote too.
Right.
Just because they're not homeowners, they vote too. And he put his nose up to that. And that if he just would have did that extra work, that could have been
He
100
won.
votes in there that he got. It was
Yeah, he
so
won.
incredibly close, and he lost, man. I couldn't
Wow.
believe it. It was
I
frustrating,
mean,
man.
we need to start. Like I was talking to Tommy about this the other night. We've got to start mobilizing people for the midterms. Like, even if when we do go live, just having like a website, which Carissa's got. Get up with Carissa; she can give you the website to know if you're registered, where your voting place is, when the date of your primary is. Like, we got to mobilize this year, like, because we're on as Jess puts it, we're on a freight train to fascism if we don't do something. It's getting
I'll
ugly.
tell you, man. The one thing on our side we got to do is that we got to work better together. I'm going to
Yeah.
tell you this because I know. Look, I know a lot of people on TikTok on our Democrat side don't like me. And you know what? I get all this. I'm Joe Manchin of the Democrats and all this bullshit. And you look, I have voted Democrat my whole entire damn life. Yes, I'm pro-life with exception, but I voted for John Kerry, pro-choice. I voted for Barack Obama 2 times, pro-choice. I voted for Hillary Clinton, pro-choice. And I voted for Joe Biden, pro-choice. I am not a one-issue voter. I am. If we talk about any other issue besides that, you'll absolutely hear that I'm a very strong Democrat. We
Yeah,
need to
that
work
conversation you and I had
together.
that night was that was powerful because, like, you're right. Like, Roe is gone, so does it matter to
It's
me if you're
gone, man.
pro-life or not? Like, so what's the
It's
point of
freaking
arguing
done,
about
man.
it?
We
We
gotta
need
find
to
some.
we got to band
I
together. We've got
there's so
to
many. The one thing
we got
about
to do it.
Republicans, man, is that they freaking work together so well on here. Yes, they
They
sometimes
stay on message like a motherfucker,
yes,
dude.
yes,
Oh
Yeah,
my
they band
god.
I
together,
think
man.
yeah, I think it's time to let the right continue to spin their wheels on abortion because they want to do their quote unquote victory lap that Roe was overturned. But I think it's time for us on the left to move on and, like Travis said, focus on the midterms because that horse is beaten, dead, and buried. There's nothing more we can do.
Yeah.
There's nothing we can do to change it.
I think debating abortion at this point is pointless because I know they're still doing it. A lot of big creators do, and that's fine. Like, I respect them. People like Kenzie, Kiara, Fig, Sanvi, they want to do that. I'm fine with it. It's dead now. It's not coming back. Like, we got to move forward. Like, we need to do something.
It is the most difficult topic to talk about. It is the
Yeah,
most difficult, and no matter because you could be as down the middle. You can try to be, and I've learned. I got lots of pro-choice friends. Loopy Lola 420. If you guys ain't following her, she's probably one of the best
I
pro-choicers. One
do.
of my good friends. One of my good
She's
friends on here, and
amazing.
she's helped me learn a lot on that issue and why people are pro-choice. And me and her are great. I listen to her,
And
and you know what? That's the
Sharon,
thing.
don't forget Sharon. Sharon's got a ton
Yeah,
of good.
yes,
Sharon's like a
sharing
walking.
information, man. Sharing
Oh, that
information, but yeah, she
she's a
has more
walking
information. And
encyclopedia.
yes, that's why I tell her I'm so glad you're my friend. Because like she's in my life, she come in a box, and she'll destroy the person, and she go, "Okay, I'm leaving," and she goes right back to the comment. She'll come in and
Which she did
destroy
with
him and just leave.
Ben, and then Ben turned around and insulted her age. I'm like, dude, if y'all have not seen this on my YouTube, it's so bad. Like, and Rudy was trying to be as patient as possible with this fucking idiot kid, but he insulted the female guest that was in. I don't remember her name. He was it Holly? or Molly. It's close to that.
Yeah,
That
I
day that
can't
Sharon came
remember.
with whoever Ben was, yeah, comes in, trashes her, and Rudy's like, "Look, man, I don't know you from fucking Adam. You're not going to come in here and trash females on my live." And he was acting really different to the male guy. And then Sharon
Hmm.
came on, and he threw her age in her face, I guess, because he just saw her picture or whatever. And I'm like, "This is how you're winning hearts and minds. No wonder your party's so fucking heartless." Like, yeah, you've got a bunch of people that know a lot. Like Sharon is just,
Well,
oh my, I
my
don't know
thing is,
how
I
I'm
she
think
does
also
that.
I'm
it's a
also gonna
smart thing
put
to
in.
surround your. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I'm also gonna put in though that one of the things that needs to stop is and I get where it comes from, and I totally understand it, but the whole Republicans are the problem, Democrats are the problems, liberals are the problem. Honestly, in my opinion, it's it doesn't matter.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I agree. Too many Americans
That
don't
hurts.
vote, and that's the truthful thing is during the election, I never one time told anybody, in my life they would come in, they're like, "Hey, should I vote for Joe Biden?" And I would tell them, "You need to go out and find unbiased information on both people, and you need to look at it as an individual. You can look. I'm biased. I'm voting for Biden. You need to
Right.
go and you need to look at the information and make the best decision for yourself. I'm not
Yep.
going to tell you that you need to vote for Joe Biden. You need to go out and look for the information and find. I mean, find stuff that's non Fox News, non CNN. Find some
Right.
really good information on both men and look at it because you gotta make it informed. Don't look at me. I'm all the way for Joe Biden. I'm gonna I'm
Right.
gonna tell you every good thing about Joe Biden. You need to go out and look at both guys and make the best decision for yourself. You
Yep.
know.
And it's hard to
Yeah.
say, but they really
Yeah.
need to they just need to read their voter information that came with their ballot.
Well, we just don't. So the Democrats. Here's the way I sum up Democrats, and this is what annoys me because like I'm a leftist. I think most of us are Democrats, and it's no insult to Rudy's screen name, but we're most Democrats. And then what we do is we go, we got Trump out of office. We beat the fuck out of that dude. Holy shit! No more Orange Man. We're good for 4 years. No, we're not. No, we're not. And that's what we do really bad. We've got to mobilize in the midterms.
It's not.
We've got
Yeah,
to
what you're saying. It's
mobilize.
not. It's not
Yeah.
over. We may have beat Trump, okay, and he's out. Trumpism is still in office. Trumpism is still floating around this nation, and Trumpism is a
Exactly.
it's a
Well, and the
cancer
other
to it's a cancer to America. He is.
It's
Well,
fascism.
it was
It's fascism.
yeah. Well, it
Pure and
was so
simple. It's
perfect. So a
fascist.
perfect example of your point, Travis, is Obama in '08. It was like, oh yeah, like Democrats were like, oh yay, we elected the first president of color, and then turned around and he got smacked in the midterms in 2010.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. What did he say? It was a shellacking.
Yeah.
Well, if you look
Yeah.
at, I mean, I'm a huge fan of President Obama, but if you look, President Obama was good for himself. You know what I mean? He 2 time, he got reelected, but far as party, it wasn't so very good for the party. Yes, the first
Yeah.
time, but the second time we lost a lot. We lost a lot, and a lot of that was from the Obamacare, which I supported. I mean, the only thing with Obamacare I did not support was finding people who didn't have health insurance.
Oh, the individual
I, I
mandate, the $600 fine. I
yeah,
agree,
I
Tim.
thought I thought
I
I
agree with
thought that
that.
was complete. I thought it was completely ignorant that you're going to take away somebody's tax return when they can't afford health insurance. So you're going to take their tax return. I mean,
Yep.
that makes no sense. We got to find someone else. If they're all, this is how we're going to pay for it. We need to find a better way to pay for it. And it aggravates me that, look, guys, I like space too. I like going out in outer space and looking at all the pretty planets. But you know what? If we can take a fraction of what we're spending there and we can put it back here in
Yep.
America and making sure that people have health insurance where they get to go and see their doctors and make sure they're okay and make sure that women are getting, high end contraceptives to prevent unwanted pregnancies. That's where it's at for me. I want to stop unwanted pregnancies. I want to do
see
everything in our power to put it on the table
And the problem
this
with
whole-
that,
Well, and
the
it's
problem,
interesting because what he's saying is we can criticize the people we vote for. And that's what bothers me about the MAGA movement. I will ask them to tell me one thing he did wrong. So Rudy has his that he just did wrong. Mine, as an environmentalist, was signing offshore drilling contracts after Deepwater Horizon. We
yeah.
can all in this room sit down and criticize the person we voted for. They won't say anything negative ever. And that's scary. Because we can all sit around and say, like, what are your gripes with Obama? What are your gripes with Biden? We all could come up with a list. You ask them, what's your gripe with Trump? It's, oh, he was the greatest president ever. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for the conversation. Appreciate it. Like,
Well, most of them, truthfully, if you talk to them, man, a lot of the people that voted for Trump, a lot of these people just got into politics with Trump because they
yes.
thought he was different. They
Yeah.
they liked him because he was rich. He talked a lot of shit. He's a great bullshitter. We have to
Well,
give
yeah.
Trump that.
and excuse
Trump's a
me for
great
how I
bullshitter.
say this, they also liked him because he had big balls. But I have a lot of friends who have big balls. I don't invite them to parties for a reason.
Well,
Well,
the
yeah,
difference
well,
is,
and
like, even if
I
we had
just
big
want,
balls, we don't treat women that way. We don't treat minorities that way. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, that's the difference. Like, you know, we're, like I said earlier, we're inclusive. They're not.
Oh yeah,
Like,
there's Jimmy's right. Jimmy Neutron, you're right. There's a difference between a regular Republican. Well, see, you got layers in the Republican Party. You got
Mhm.
the regular Republican like Liz Cheney. Then you got
Mitt Romney.
then you got Mitt Romney. Then now you got the Trumpican, which is the hardcore Trumper. But then on top of that, you got the Trumpican QAnon type of Republican.
Which is
There's like layers.
insanity.
yeah.
There's layers of Republicans. So they get, and this is the problem that Democrats get mad at me because I have friends on that side. So if I find a few of them that aren't that bad, right, and I can talk to them, they get lumped in with the rest of the crazy ones, you know. And so believe me, I run into some crazy Republicans. I'll try to talk to them, but if they're too far gone, I'm not messing with them. I try to focus on the ones that could have a decent conversation because
Right.
look, we in this
Yeah.
country, there's 75 million people that voted for Trump. We can't ignore that. That's a legit.
Exactly.
That's a huge part.
Amen.
In America, we need a strong Democrat Party and we need a strong Republican Party, not a Trumpican Party. We need Republicans to come back to their sanity because we do. People need to be representative. Okay, that we need a strong Republican Party and a Democrat Party, but we got to fight against this Trumpism. Trumpism is the enemy. That is the enemy, and we got to go against that ideal.
They're kind of
Of what he
breaking
is.
but they're kind of breaking their own party by doing all this. They may not even have a party soon if they keep going at it.
Well,
Especially if
Like, I think when I say this, I'm probably just reiterating what Moderate's saying, but it doesn't matter which side. It needs to be the politicians in office, and that's any office, needs to be for the people.
Right.
Well, yeah, and if you had told
Yeah,
me
we don't-
10 years ago when he was running against Obama that Donald Trump would have pushed Mitt Romney to the center of the made Mitt Romney a centrist Republican, I would have told you were out of your ever-loving
You
mind.
know, I got a lot of respect for Mitt Romney. I do.
I do too.
I might not agree. I might not agree with him on a lot of things, but you know what? That man chose America over his own party and voted to impeach and remove
Yep.
Donald Trump. You know,
Yeah.
that took a lot of courage from a Republican out from Utah
Yep.
to do that. And
his
that
speech
tells
was
me that-
moving. If you listen to his speech
Yes.
on that, it was
and
moving.
and like Liz Cheney and Adam Kissinger. I mean, I think it's Kissinger. I think I'll probably say that wrong. But
Yeah,
you know, those are real
Singer. Yeah.
Kissinger. Yes, those are real Republicans. Those are people that you could sit down at the table and you can have good conversations. These Trumpicans these
You can't.
extremist Republicans who are passing these god awful abortion laws, and truthfully, I'm going to tell you, you see it on TikTok, and the reason I know why I get a lot of hell for being pro-life with exceptions is because you guys see a terrible representation of what a pro-lifer looks like on TikTok. You guys got an extreme version of it on this app. They're crazy. They got a lot of them have no. I've watched the same people you're talking about. They'll get on there and they have no exceptions for SA or incest, and it makes pro-lifers look terrible. And these laws that
Yeah.
they're trying to pass make pro-lifers look terrible. And most of these pro-lifers don't want to make programs to help women choose life. They don't want to do that. They don't want to put the money in the programs because they believe in pulling their bootstraps up, even if you don't have none. And that's the problem with the
Yep.
pro-life movement is there's
Hence my T-shirt that says
it
pro
gets
forced
hijacked.
birth extremism. Like that's it. Like it's not because like the leading question I always do is, okay, you are pro-life, so the kid's born. Can I get federally mandated paternity maternity leave? Nope. Can I get universal health care? Nope. Like it's just everything. Like, it's almost like when George Carlin did that bit years ago. Like they care about you till you're born, and after that,
Yeah,
fuck you. It's on you. Like it's just,
believe me,
and
Yeah.
believe me,
that's not the way to do it.
we were poor as shit growing up, man. My family, and
Yep.
you know what? There was plenty of times where we were getting WIC. We were on welfare a couple times.
We did
You
that
know,
too. Yep.
I don't.
We did it.
Those programs fed us, and they took care of us. And you know what? I know people abuse the system. I know they do. But you know what? If Republicans, if they want these, what they got to realize, when Roe went down, and all these trigger laws went in there are going to be millions of new babies coming into America. And you know what? You've got to open up your tight ass wallets, and you're going to have to help feed these babies. You're going to have to help make sure they're getting to go to the doctor. They got a roof over their head. Because if you are not willing to do that, you are fake pro-life, and you need to shut up and sit down and quit trying to tell people what to do with their body if you're not going to financially step up.
It's insane to me that in one breath. So like you know Carissa, right? Rudy, you and Carissa, leftist Carissa,
Who?
leftist Carissa.
Yeah, she's awesome. Yeah.
So we were talking the other day. Her state is looking at outlawing the IUD. Problem is for her, is she's got a rare blood clot disorder. Can't take regular birth control. And she's like, so they want to take away something that fundamentally I need to not have a pregnancy, that you don't want to end an abortion? What the fuck? Like,
I
and
don't even
looked up the
understand
law,
how that's legal.
because the contraceptive law was built on. So I was telling somebody earlier, you have case law, right? And case law builds on that, and you just keep building. So the Roe was 73. The contraceptive bill was in 89. Sodomy was 90. Gay marriage was way later, but they were all built on Roe. So all these protections are on Roe. Goodbye, Roe. Nothing else left. And she was telling me like how worried she was because like she can't do anything else. Why do they want to say don't get pregnant and then stop the things that would stop you from getting pregnant? It makes no sense. It's almost like they're forgetting people like her that can't do anything else. Like,
Well,
that's it.
yeah. And, you know, one of my biggest reasons why I'm very pro-choice, and part of it is because your life doesn't really affect mine. What you do with your body and your life is not very effective on me. But the other part of it is all banning abortion honestly really did was ban safe abortion. And the problem with that is, one, I've personally lost a friend of mine to her unaliving herself because her parents were pro-life and she was in middle school. The other part is because there is 22,800 women every year that has passed away from unsafe abortion. So yes, I understand. Yes, that is technically a life, but you also have to. My theory is you have to also look at the actual life that's also walking the earth or roaming the earth at the moment, because that heavily affects them mentally. And
Well,
you
and
can't
not just
say,
mentally, physically, because Rudy's wife has had kids, and I bet you if Rudy's wife got on here, she could tell you what it did to her physically. Like it's
"Oh,
not
Oh,
I've
I've
had
joking.
seen, I've
kids, and I
seen,
could tell you
I've
exactly what it
seen,
did to me."
yeah, I've seen it. I've seen what she went through. You know,
It's not
she
an
ended
easy
up,
process.
our kid came 7 weeks early. She ended up, having preeclampsia. She had to have an emergency C-section. Our kid had to spend 2 weeks in a NIC unit.
Jesus.
That emergency C-section was $38,000. And the 2 weeks in the NIC unit was $68,000. You know,
Well,
and that's
Welcome to
what's crazy
America.
is, yeah,
and
it's crazy.
yeah, and it's disgusting. But I have 2 kids. I've been through pregnancy, and the worst part about it is my first one. So part of it was because I was homeless at the time and wasn't getting all the nutrients I needed. I lost a lot of the calcium in my bones, and the first thing that goes out is what went out was my teeth, and so I had literally every tooth in my mouth is got rot in it from losing all that calcium. I've
Jesus.
my second one, I was put on bed rest for pretty much my entire third trimester because of the fact that I had lost so much calcium in my body that they were permanently paralyzed. And I am so thankful it wasn't. I never did, but I still have after effects of that. And my youngest is 2 years old. And the other part of it is the fact that this is going to sound gross, but because I had my youngest as a VBAC, so my first was a C-section because he was breech. My youngest was a VBAC, which I have incontinence issues. So it's definitely a physical issue too, but because of all of that stuff that's happened, I know my mental health has just taken a downward spiral because of it.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
lot. Like
oh, go ahead.
I think Rudy would agree with me on this one. Like as straight cis white males, like we are trying to be allies to BIPOC, allies to women, LGBTQIA plus. Rudy, do you agree? Like, because here's how I feel. I'm fucking tired. Like I am, and we're not even the ones being oppressed, and I'm getting my ass kicked. I'm worn out. Like we're getting beat the fuck up. Like it's rough right now.
I want everybody, man, to have that American dream, man. When I can't stand it when I'm seeing gay folks, transgender folks being treated wrong. I mean, uh, it's a human rights thing, and this country, man, we've had to pass laws to make people morally act better. We had to pass laws to make sure black folks could go drink at a water fountain the same way or the white folk. We literally had to pass
Yep.
laws to make people morally better and act better. And sometimes you got to do it. You got to smack people with law and say you're going to act better. We're tired of you acting stupid. You know, and
It's sad that we got to a point where we had to take women and African Americans and write amendments to make them part of us, which is to me always odd. Like that's just all. I had a guy the other week that wore me out on the Constitution, saying, "Well, abortion isn't mentioned." I said, "Neither is child corn. Okay, that's not mentioned either. Is it okay? Speed limits weren't mentioned. So can I drive my car through your neighborhood at 100 miles an hour with your kids and pets outside playing? No, I can't. Why
hey,
don't we
I don't
just
know where
shred that
I
thing and
don't
write it again?
I don't know where the
Why
comment
don't we
went.
just do it
But
again?"
somebody, I'm not gaslighting anybody. I don't know what this
I didn't
person was
do it.
talking. Someone said I was gaslighting. I haven't gaslighted anybody in here. He asked me a question. I answered it. I tried to.
Guys, also, you're also in the midst of friends. It's a small echo chamber. We talk, we disagree. Yeah, it happens in the Democratic Party. We learn from each other. Like, nobody's been gaslit at all tonight. Sorry.
I don't think I have.
No, no, hell no. Just it's because that stupid freaking Republican group that fucking hates my ass. I'm sure they're like mass reporting me right now. Like, yeah, I go out and do one thing and stick up for Tommy, and the next thing you know, like I'm immediately like, poster child #1 for fucking cancel culture. Like, it's ridiculous. But
It is.
yeah, no.
The bad thing about this app, dude. There's a mob mentality, and if you have an opinion on something and you speak it, I mean, my God, the amount of people that will come for you and rip you a brand new ass. And it's
Yep.
like, man, have mercy. Why? And truthfully, making videos for your account is really jeopardizing your account every time you make one. So truthfully, if you
Yep.
just make one or two, and you got to be very, very vanilla when you make one. Like, if you see me
Yep.
respond to somebody, 99% of the time I'm saying, thank you, sir. Okay, this is how I'm feeling. Believe me, do you think I want to be that way? No, I have to be
So,
that way.
I've decided on this. Good Trouble is doing it. I'm just going to start doing more friends only videos because, like, think about it.
Well,
Like,
you
the
can do
people
that.
are
You can do that when you got 1.5 million followers.
Well, I
Yeah.
might do it at just 5,000 because, like, if it needs to be a heated message I want to get out, the vast majority of Republicans aren't going to give a shit what I have to say anyway. So I'll do lives for them. Like, we had a very me and Hipster debated a guy earlier tonight who was pro-life, very respectful, never insulted us. But it was a great conversation. We hit 1 or 2 a week, we're good to go. I just might have to make the content like friends only because
Well, like I was trying to tell you earlier, if I was in that protection program that Tommy had, if I went live for 2 hours a week for 7 days a week, and if I had not been, because the last 6 months my account's been banned 5 times permanently, and I don't know
So
what I got. I got lucky with TikTok. They got me in some type of program where literally, if I get permanently banned, I appeal it, and 2 minutes later, I have my account back. But they do not have me that with my live, and my videos are severely been banned. Where
you're shadow banned. You wrote down that
Shadow banned.
web link though, right?
The what?
You got that web link from earlier. Earlier. I wrote off. Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty. I'm gonna look at that again because I've seen that list before, and I would tell you, I tried to get Tommy to, I tried to get Tommy to help me out there. Get me involved with these people he's got, but I would say this for iSpeak. Me and him are mutuals, and iSpeak sent emails on my behalf, trying to help me get into it, and that was probably 8 months ago, and you have to be invited. You have to be invited into that group.
I've got a friend that does. She's a model and does like bikini try-ons and stuff, and she's got the permanent live. Let me ask her how to invite you to that.
I mean, you could go. If you go
It is
look at,
possible.
you look to think about something. I have 117,000 followers on my main account. You're
I
telling me that I stitched a video today. This lady saying, "What are you not sorry for?" And I did my video. It was a good
Yours
one.
was yours was like not sorry for always telling the truth. That was
Yes,
yours,
not
right?
always telling.
Yeah.
And that has 200 views, and it's been up for probably 8 hours now. 200 views.
Bro, so
tell me that I'm not being hidden.
So something is, because I've got 5,000 followers ish. I made a response video for a gun reform thing, and it was 1 minute 11 seconds and has 24,000 views right now. And I have 5,000 followers. So yeah, obviously something is wrong.
You know what's crazy is that TikTok gives me the ability to make 10-minute long videos. I can't get people to see a 30-second video. You think I'm going to make the time to do a 10-minute long video?
No.
Hell no.
And
Well,
then
I
the
mean,
Republicans are always blaming this on us. I'm like, bro, we aren't the problem. Like, I don't mass report you all. Like, if I see your shit, I don't want to hear it. I flip on up and I keep going. They're the ones that
Yeah.
stick around in a fucking room they don't want to hear
You
about. Like the idiot earlier that
I'll
said
tell you the
echo
truth on
chamber.
something.
Like,
If I'm friends with somebody, there's almost 100% chance when I see you on my For You page, I automatically hit the like button almost before I even
right,
listen to what you're saying.
I'm
same.
going to say
I'm just
though,
being true. Like you guys can be talking about pro-choice and you hate pro-lifers, and there's probably 100% chance I'm going to hit the like button just to help you. I may not agree
You
with your
like
take on it,
so
you've
and
I'm
liked
going
some
to
of my
put
I'm
this
going to
videos that
help
are
warning
you.
out.
exact opposite of you. You've liked some of mine that are the exact opposite because I do the same thing. Like, I'll just hit the like button and move on to get my friends' engagement. Like, that's what
Because
we
look,
do.
Okay,
the
so
thing
I'm
is,
going to
we're
put
on the
this
same
out there.
side.
With TikTok's algorithm, here is the thing: do not like a video until you've watched about 10 seconds into it. And the reasoning why is because if they have, like, 100 people that do that, that's another way for them to actually get shadow banned.
Well,
Yeah,
okay,
and now
Tara, can
and
we
now
address
if
this real
you go
quick?
into the analytics on if you go into the analytics of a video on TikTok, it will show you there's a graph now that will show you the amount of people that watch your entire video all the way through.
Yeah.
And like I've posted like a 45-second video and like only about 8% of people that engage it. There are that
Watch the
only about
end.
8% of people that watch it all the way through to the end.
I,
The drop
I
off is
don't understand.
unreal.
Tara, I don't understand. Rudy, well, yes, I know you used to be my friend. I don't understand why I have not gaslit nobody in here. I don't know what you're talking about. Why do you keep saying I'm gaslighting people? What have I said to anybody in here that was gaslighting?
Yeah,
I have
Tara,
not
that'd be
gaslit
interesting.
anybody.
Like, this is literally
I'm
just us.
I have no idea what she's talking about. You told people you don't. I said I didn't know who said it. I didn't know where the comment went. I told it right in. I didn't know where the comment went. Yes, I know who you are. So I don't know why you keep saying I'm gaslighting you.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know why, but just explain to me how I'm gaslighting you. I don't. Okay, I know who you are. I know you don't like me now, and I really don't know why you don't like me, but you're free to not like me.
No, you're wrong, Terry.
You
You're about to get
told
blocked.
people you don't know who I am. All right.
I just don't understand.
Yep.
Like, I don't know what I did.
Now she's blocked. I'm not dealing with that bullshit. We're here all
I
being
don't know
civil.
what
Nobody's gaslighting.
See, that's the
She's
problem I
blocked.
have, man. It's like I have no idea. I get this shit, and I can literally be so down the middle, and I have no idea what I did.
So I think it's like like you and I reconciled on this shit. I think a lot of us are just scared of being middle and want to go far left just to be safe. But like if you can't articulate what your problem is, then you don't have a fucking voice. Like if you can't articulate, like I read her messages just now before I blocked her. Like you're just saying gaslighting. She can't describe what gaslighting is. I bet. Like it's
I see. Like
fucking ridiculous.
I tried to say earlier. I said the comment disappeared. I don't know who said it, but they said I was gaslighting, and she's trying to say I didn't know. Yes, I know
Oh,
her.
yeah,
You
are we
know.
gaslighting the chat? Like, did we gaslight the
I don't
chat?
know,
Like,
man. I'm just chilling, dude. It's 5:22 in the morning, man.
yeah, I know it's
I'm
4:22 in Oklahoma. Like, we're
I'm
literally
just
just
chilling,
drunk
man.
and
I'm not
chilling
trying to
out.
fight
Like,
with anybody.
yeah,
I
like
don't
we're
want to
just
fight with
drunk and chilling at
anybody.
this point. Fuck. Nobody's had like an overheated conversation. Well, she's
No.
gone now. That's the problem on here is fucking troll. Let me see. Her last comment is still up. She had 3,700 followers and could have fucking requested and never did.
I don't know. We used to be friends, and I honest to God, I could not tell you why she does not like me. I have no idea. It could
I
be for a million different reasons. I have no idea.
The way that the
I quit.
comments were reading, it sounded like she was upset that you were pro-life and the way she made it sound like you were refusing to listen to any reasoning on why
Well,
you shouldn't be pro-life.
that's
And
the thing. I will tell you guys
He
something.
doesn't need any reasoning. It's his personal belief system. He doesn't need
Yes.
any reasoning.
My thing is you'll never hear me or try to convince you to be pro-life. I have never made a video saying, Travis, you got to be pro-life to be my friend, or I don't think you're a really good Democrat. You'll never hear me do it. I've never made a video
That's
in
what
my
Krista told
life.
me. She said, if you'll, Krista said, if I could get you two to talk, you'd understand that he's never going to try to convince you to be on his side, but he's going to vote blue. He'll move forward our agenda. And I'm like, okay, I'm down to
I've
hear
always
that. We talked
voted.
for like,
I've
what,
always
so
3 hours
voted
that night?
Democrat.
Like, we've
I
been
do
like,
have to
that night was like
ask.
then I was like 3 hours of me, you, and Tommy and Carissa, and
Mhm.
then we're good and we move on. And because, like you said, we can't have our own party being divided. We cannot fucking afford that right now. So
So
I know she
moderate,
means
I
like
do have to
gaslighting. It ain't
ask.
me.
Yeah, I do have to ask moderate. Are you pro-life or are you pro-life for yourself and pro-choice for others?
Oh, look, I am pro-life. If I agree with Joe Biden on a lot of things where I want abortion to be the most rarest occasion that happens. It
Mhm.
breaks my heart. It breaks my heart that when people Luke below the 420 told me that 73% of abortions happen because of financial reasons. If we can make programs that brings that number drastically down and gives women and family resources to choose life, that's where I want to go. I want to give every opportunity for that child because to me, that is life, and life is precious.
Okay.
And
And that's where
I
you.
and,
So, and I want to make this clear for everyone in the chat. This is where
and
a
Luke,
liberal
let us
pro-lifer
in here. You
differs
can
in
Luke,
a
let us
Republican
in here.
pro-lifer. When you have if you have a Democratic pro-lifer, they are for things like paid paternal maternal leave, universal health care, things of this
Yes.
nature. If you're on the right, what you have
Joe Biden's
is,
recurring tax credit that was coming every month. That was
yep.
nice.
And if you're on the right, you are pro-birth and don't want any of these other programs, which is like after I talked to Chris, talked to Tommy, talked to you, I was like, you know what? I can respect his opinion. We can agree to disagree there. But at the end of the day, we're for programs that will benefit more than just pregnant women. We're for programs that will benefit
Yeah.
everybody, people in the
Well,
BIPOC community,
Yes.
LGBTQIA plus community. Like it's a bigger picture. So now we're on the battle of bigger picture. So it's a fine thing. This is what the left does. The right eats itself. The left talks and learns. That's it.
yeah, and so like I'm very pro-choice, and I agree with the whole thing of we do need to make it where it is a rare occasion, and the problem is because of like these trigger laws that went in and whatnot, those rare occasions don't even get the choice of having that rare occasion.
I absolutely
And
agree with you.
yeah,
There's some guy named
And
Husky saying wrong. I just invited Husky
I
into
agree.
the chat. Let's see if he joins. He's
I
yelling
agree.
wrong in
I
the
agree with
chat.
you. Is
I
that
blocked
name
him,
Kingdom
Travis.
Stitchy?
mhm.
I agree with
Oh,
you,
I
and that's
tried.
the
I tried to
problem.
invite him.
That's the problem with this extremist view of pro-life. Okay, now look, I'll tell you something, and because it's happened to me in my life, I've been asked, what's the difference between an SA baby and a baby that was conceived in a normal situation? There is no difference. There is zero difference. No difference. They're the same. The baby is the same. The only difference is how the baby got there. I could never, in a million years, ever look at a woman that was forced upon or incest and say, guess what? You got to carry that kid. I would never do that. I could not do that. And the majority of Americans agree with that.
Yeah.
It's
Correct.
just, and, and then the Republicans want to go extreme. They want to make it criminalized if you have a typical pregnancy. They want to criminalize it if you had a miscarriage. They want to try to try to determine that you did something to get your baby to have a miscarriage. And the problem is with these Republicans, they're not even bringing in doctors when they're passing these laws. They're not bringing in people that know what they're talking about, you know? And to me, and like, look, when I say I'm pro-life, I'm pro-entire life. I don't even support the death penalty because
I don't either.
you'll hear a lot of pro-lifers say, yeah, I'm pro-life, but then I am pro-execution. And
Well, I
I
mean, and
can't,
that comes back to the North Carolina and what law they're trying to pass in right now.
how am I contradicting myself, Bill? How am I? Because giving a woman compassion and understanding in that extreme situation. So, Bill, in your words, you would want me to force the 10-year-old here in Ohio, a 10-year-old who was 9 when she conceived, to be forcefully have that child. That is insane
And
to me.
to add into that,
I
though,
really want to see what Bill says in response. I really want to see what Bill's response is.
to add into
It's gonna be
what
nothing.
modern-
It's gonna be
to-
nothing because I blocked him.
Yeah.
He has 42 followers and no following. Yeah.
And to add on to what Moderate said of the
Would you
whole,
rather
oh gosh, I lost my thought. Hi, ADHD brain. Sorry.
I'm the same way. You know what's really bad? You know what's squishy? Try having about 1,500 people staring at your face, and you have that moment happen to you where you had a really good comeback, and it's gone. You forget it,
it's
and you're
over with, and you're like, damn
what,
it.
what the did I had a great line, and it's gone. I'm like,
Yeah, I know. Well, and here's
No,
what really
but-
sucks is I'm
I'm used to getting all the
unmanaged,
hate.
untreated.
I'm glad Rudy's here tonight because I normally get all the hate in my own lives, and now Rudy's getting all of it, and I'm not getting hated on at all. This is refreshing.
Rudy's your meat shield.
Nobody has talked shit about me yet. I'm gonna let Rudy do this. He's a big enough man to handle it for me.
Believe me,
Rudy's
I
your
get
meat
enough
shield.
shit.
But I think an interesting test case in the post Roe world, and I know it sounds funny, is gonna be the woman in Dallas that was cited for riding in the HOV lane with only one person, but she was 34 weeks pregnant.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I cracked up at that one because, it just proves that there's people that believe that it's only a life, but only when it's convenient to argue about it. And the other thing of it is, and I finally remembered what I was going to say, the 10-year-old in Ohio. The fact is that there's people that believe that she should have gone through with that pregnancy and gave up the baby for adoption. And what gets me is they don't realize that 10-year-old can die unalive from going through that pregnancy and going through childbirth.
Oh, and there's somebody here who loves Rudy. Mommy Sesame Little Monster says, I love Rudy. I've not seen you live in weeks. He's been live. He just got bananaed tonight, I think. He's been going live more often. He is around.
No, I got bananaed. I got bananaed Friday. Thursday. Thursday morning. I got Thursday morning.
Yeah, mommy, he's still around. He's definitely here. He's been doing more lives lately too. Just it's either going to be early morning or late night. I think is what I've learned.
Yeah, Bam, and you're right. They really don't care, and it's so sad because they sit here and claim that they care about the child's life, but then
can
when
I ask you guys something?
What's up?
On the pro-choice side, and I asked if you remember this, Travis. I asked Tommy this, and Tommy agreed with me, which was kind of surprising. If a woman, let's say that she's 6 months or up to 9 months pregnant, right? And I or anybody would walk up to that woman and hit the woman in the stomach, and she miscarriages. Should I be charged with murder, or should I only be charged with assault?
Murder.
I feel like murder.
Me too.
Murder.
I agree. Now,
Murder.
see, now we all agree now, and this is, I ask you this because you know how many times I've had pro-choice. I literally had a person come up to me, well, in the live, and tell me that they can walk up to a woman, put their hand on her belly, right, and feel the baby kick, and that's not a life. It's not a life, right? Until it comes out.
So my thing
And
on that one,
I
and the
feel
reason
that's an extreme point.
so I agree
And it
with you,
hurts.
but it might be different. It might not be we might not agree the same way, but here's what I would say. Um, at that age, the woman would be looking at personhood and abortion being ending pregnancy, and that kid would come out. At that point,
Yeah.
they could give up parental rights. Somebody could adopt it. So if you do that, like what you just said about hitting them in the stomach and causing a miscarriage, you've now taken away their right to choose. So yes, that is murder. You did not give them a choice anymore. You forced a choice on them. So yes, you are guilty.
Well, and my other thought on that is a lot of women don't know that they are pregnant until
And
about
Rudy, is that
6
about?
weeks
Well,
in.
but he's talking deep in. So Rudy, are we about the same on that one? Like it should be murder.
Yes, or manslaughter, whatever they want to call it.
Yeah.
But I
Okay.
think that you should be charged because
So
it's a life.
if the
And
woman-
there's a life in there.
You took away her choice, and you took it away in late term. So yeah, I agree. That's absolutely.
Yeah,
and that's
if
where
the
I'm
wo- if
getting
the-
into also.
Yeah, if the woman is if the pregnancy is well past the term of viability, then yes, that should be murder, manslaughter, whatever you want to call it.
Well, and okay, so and I was getting to that point of a lot of women who get an abortion, or okay, I'm not even going to say women. I'm going to say uterus bearers because that's inclusive of everyone. A lot of them tend to get into where, oh, ow, basically, they find out about 6 weeks. I found out for both mine about 12 weeks in. And, you know, at that point, I decided I did want to keep them. At 6 to 9, you know, between 6 and 9 months, that child is obviously wanted at that point. 9 times out of 10, if there was an abortion at that age, and notice I'm saying 9 times out of 10, not all the time, it is obviously a wanted. And if there was an abortion involved, it was because it was either the child was not going to be able to live, or that it was a health risk to the mother.
Jen,
So
what do you mean? Hold on real quick. Jen, what do you mean? I can't believe you call yourself a Democrat. You think women get bored and it's a whim? Nobody here says that. No one has said that at all tonight.
I'm not sure who she's referring to.
I never said anything like that. See, that's the crazy thing. You can be in a live like this, and some crazy shit will get said at you, and you're like, I don't even know where that shit came from.
You're like,
Yeah.
Jim,
And then,
like being
then
like,
what
trying
happens?
to be
People make videos
respectful.
on it. Then all of a sudden, you're a person that says stupid shit.
Yeah, Jen, like totally being respectful, but like none of us have said that. Like none of us say that women do it on a whim. Nobody in this live tonight, I feel confident for speaking for all the guests, believe that women do that on a whim. Nobody.
No,
And we haven't said that. Like,
No,
I'm
it's
like-
the right. It's the right that thinks that pregnant women, just wake up one day and say, "Oh, you know what? I don't want this pregnancy anymore. I'm gonna go get an abortion. I'm gonna go get."
Is the screen is the screen froze up for everybody?
I'm
am
not.
Am I froze?
No, I can. Everything's working.
Yeah, it's frozen.
Yeah,
for me.
You're good on my end.
It might be jacked up. Let me.
I still hear you.
Yeah, it's jacked up on me. Let me dip out and come back.
Okay,
I don't
sounds
know
good.
what's going on.
Yeah, request. I'll put you right back in. Yeah, Jen, I don't know, man. Yeah, we're definitely not in that camp. Like, definitely not in that camp at all. Like, and we also
Jen-
have
Are you saying that because of something I said? I'm just curious.
and we also have the cool thing about this is we've got a varying degree of leftist Democrats in here. So, you know, we're all a little bit different, but none of us would say that, yeah. Oh, Jen just woke up. She might have misheard everything. You're all right. You're good, Jen. You're good, Jen. No worries. No worries. No piling on. Everybody leave Jen alone.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if you guys aren't far on Loopy Lola 420 in here, she's probably one of the. She loves the abortion topic. She'll sit there for hours. She's got a lot more patience than me with it because
Loopy, I just
she knows
added
her
you on this
stuff. She knows,
account.
that's the good thing about her. Like we can be totally different on that, on some of the points. But I've learned a lot from her, and she's
Hey,
very patient.
Loopy, do me a favor. I followed you here, but follow B Travis 13, which is my main. I only moved to this one because it was bananaed, and I'll follow you there too.
So,
I'll
Loopy,
have
I'm
you on
going to
both.
say I'm squishy. I'm Kingdom of Squishy. I am pro-choice here.
I think everybody here is pro-choice. Yeah, everybody. Well, no, Rudy's pro-life with exceptions. The rest of us are pro-choice. And we've just been hanging out, having a good time, and then having some random trolls tell us that. Well, actually, I think they've all been anti-Rudy comments for some
Some
reason.
weird
I haven't
shit,
gotten a negative
man.
one yet.
Yeah, and I'll
Jennifer,
take
you're
it.
totally fine. You're
Yeah,
totally
and
fine,
I will
Jennifer.
take it. I will take it a step further, Lola. I am pro-choice because as a non-uterus having person, I know that it is not my fucking place to tell a woman what to do with her body.
Hey, Hip. With that said, I got a question for you. You being a man, you get a woman pregnant, okay? You get a woman pregnant. She tells you that she's pregnant. If you want your kid to be born, are you going to fight for your kid to be born? Are you going to tell her, like, hey, I really want my kid to be born? Do you want your voice to be heard?
I mean, yes, it would be so. Short answer, yes, and I will expand on that. Like I would want my opinion to be taken into consideration, but at the end of the day, I know that the choice either way is ultimately the woman's, and I would respect whatever decision that my partner or whoever is coming to me with this scenario made.
Hold on, real quick. My friend was blocked because she's
Tara.
upset.
I didn't block anybody, so this is I'm gonna get this. Look, I'm getting the shit for this. I didn't block anybody. I didn't tell anybody to get blocked. Oh, here we go.
I haven't blocked anybody either.
I did. I'll take the heat for that because she was coming in here talking nonsense about Rudy gaslighting people when he was doing no such thing. So if you're gonna talk,
I didn't gaslight nobody.
if you're gonna talk out the side of your neck like that, you're gonna get blocked.
Yeah, and she can record this. Like Rudy wasn't gaslighting anybody at all. Like, was he gaslighting the pro-choice people that are libs, and he's the pro-life that's a lib? Because he didn't gaslight us. We had a healthy conversation like we always do.
Yeah.
Like,
I tried to tell her. Somebody said I was gaslighting, and I said I missed who said it. I didn't. And then when she said, "Don't act like you don't know who I am," and I said, "I know who you are. I see the comment," and I said, "I'm not gaslighting anybody," because the comment was there and then it was gone. I don't know. TikTok does weird shit. I don't know.
A lot of people,
No,
myself
no.
included, will actually read a comment before they read who the username is from. And so, when a comment gets, deleted off because they got muted or blocked or whatever, sometimes I miss who actually said that because I will admit myself, I have lashed out at someone who was sitting here joking around and I'll go, oh, okay, sorry.
I mean, and honestly, no.
No, so
whoever
real
said
quick, Travis,
this, hold on,
I
real
will
quick, hold on.
take. Yeah.
Whoever said that it's weird that she came and recorded, dude. We're
Yeah,
on the
why is she
internet,
coming
man.
in recording for?
So, and I don't care. Like, y'all can record me all
why
day
she?
long.
Hey, I can tell you this, Travis. Why they're recording this? You're talking about abortion. You're talking to me, and they're trying. They always want to try to catch me saying something crazy over the top that I've never said. And some people hate my guts. I'm telling you, this happens to me all the time in my life. I don't know why Tara doesn't like me now. We were friends for a long time, but I can't stop. I can't help it. You know what I mean? But I didn't do anything to her.
Tara
I'm
was
not.
so Tara was my friend. Give me her
Travis, this is
username because if
this
Tara's also my friend,
this is your life.
her getting blocked from
Yeah,
live doesn't make her not my friend. She came in and spammed nonstop that Rudy was gaslighting. I'm not saying she was trolling. I'm saying she came in and nonstop kept spamming that, and it was four liberals having a discussion because nobody wanted to debate, so we were chilling, and it was like nonstop spamming that Rudy was gaslighting. Like, I've got a recording too on my other
I didn't
device the other
gaslight
room. I record
anybody.
all my lives. Like,
Yeah, and
Like Travis, this
pro-choice.
is your life. I'm not going to come into
Yeah,
your life and then do that to you. I'm
yeah,
not going to do
and
that. I won't
pro-choice.
do it.
Since you're probably recording this as well, I'm gonna throw this out here. I'm the one that I'm the one that. Well, first off, I muted her for 5 minutes because I saw that she had enough followers to get in the box, and I thought that maybe she'd cool down. And I'm gonna put this out here too. My block finger is rated E for everyone. So if you keep this up, you're gonna catch a block too.
Jen, he was not gaslighting. So Jen, can you define gaslighting for me real quick?
Just last night for sure. I'll back her up that the live I've heard him speaking, he was what? Jennifer, please explain to me, how do I gaslight somebody? I have very open conversation with people, just like I am right now. Like I asked, hipster, they'll probably say I was gaslighting you there by asking you if you would fight for your kid's life, like your kid. I don't think that's gaslighting you. That's me asking you an honest question, and you answered it.
When we
You know?
get back to that
I don't think-
topic, I do have a non-extreme pro-choice opinion on that. I know I'm a woman, and I know it's not really a woman's type of discussion, but I do have an opinion on that.
All right, and I'm going to invite this person in that said, so glad men are tone policing. And we're not tone policing. We're just asking, what in the world did he possibly
Welcome
do?
to my world, guys. You're going to see. You're going to see some. I swear to you, people hate my guts, Travis. It's probably a bad thing I came on here because I'm surprised I haven't got reported for
and the
absolutely
crazy
nothing.
thing is, like, Rudy and I were like in a major fallout for like a month ago. So like, don't know. All right, so bye. All right, so top guess, what's going on? What did he do? Can you explain this for us?
Hello again.
How is so? What did Rudy do to gaslight?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah. What did Rudy do to gaslight? Do you think he did anything?
I don't know what you're talking about with gaslighting, but I am very concerned that you were discussing women's issues, but you had a person in that. Oh, God. Once again, it's men in the discussion that don't have uteruses that are tone policing, gaslighting, and just shutting women down. Why?
Okay, so all right, so I had nobody in the guest box. I am an advocate for women's rights. I am pro-choice. If you
the
look at
last time you had me in your guest box, you shut me down.
what did I do that shut you down?
When I was trying to talk to you about how I am a farmer in the Midwest, and I was talking to you about how.
Yeah, we had a very long conversation about that. Yes, I remember that. We had a very long conversation about that. I remember that conversation.
I think one of the biggest issues that I'm seeing is there's a lot of interruptions going on personally. That it does get a little bit nuts, and it does make.
Who was the governor of my state that became? Who was the governor of my state that became?
Jennifer, I don't even know who you are.
I was not concerned with the governor of your state. I was concerned with the plight of farming and the loss of money we were talking about. I'm a finance guy. I'm an econ guy.
And
that's what
that's where you went. You didn't
silence
me as a farmer, and I was trying to tell you what happened with Terry and Eric Branstad about how Terry Branstad he was the governor of Iowa.
Okay, so I didn't remember the name, but I remember specifically we talked for like an hour about this topic.
No.
about how this hurt you all and like the economy. We did all this stuff with the econ stuff earlier. Like that's how we got on this with the econ talk. You joined for economics and policy, and we had a great conversation. So what was wrong with having a good conversation where I agreed with everything you said? I agreed for everything you said. Hipster agreed with everything you said.
I'm sorry. The one at the bottom of the box here. Do you remember when you
Squishy.
came up?
Mhm.
Squishy, do you remember when you came up and you asked me and you said, "How should I speak about indigenous people?"
What
Mhm.
is this lady talking? Jennifer, what is wrong with Jennifer? I don't know. I don't even know Jennifer. Man, there is a
I was
lot of.
to you, was I?
Jennifer, let me make this easy
I'm
for
not
you.
Loki. Loki, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the lady in the comment section.
No, there's this lady spamming my comments.
Sorry, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Jennifer. If there's that's well, I'm talking to Jennifer, not you.
She's blocked. I'm
You,
not
you
doing
haven't
that.
done nothing to me. I'm just
Yeah,
trying to understand what's going on here. I don't know. This was a pretty chill conversation, and people were getting upset. I don't know. I think.
That's what
Hey,
I thought.
Travis, I just think I think I need to go, bro. I think I'm the problem here, bro. You were
Nah,
having
dude.
a good life,
Nah.
and there's a lot of like I told you, Travis. There's people that hate me, man.
Nah, buddy, you're
hate you.
you're good. Stick
Actually,
around.
no, I don't hate you, moderate Democrat. Actually, I really like you.
I don't know what is going on with my TikTok. Why is it?
Okay,
I don't know.
so Loki, yeah, I do remember that conversation earlier. What about it?
That you asked me about if it was disrespectful to have the hand over the mouth and the red and everything like that. And we discussed that very well. And then I tried to discuss with Travis here about what's happening with farmers in the Midwest and what's happening with what's happened with gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm so upset right now and I'm so tired and it's 4:00 in the morning.
Yeah, hey, look, get some sleep. You've got my account followed. We can discuss it another time, but
Well, no, want to
Well,
address
if you need to say it right now,
Yeah.
sometimes it's better to get it off the chest. Just take a deep breath, count backwards from 10, and then let's go. Let's have this discussion. Your emotions are 100% valid, hun.
Okay, what happened, Travis, is that I was trying to talk to you about how I am a farmer. I have a 700-acre farm here in Iowa, and
Right.
how it happened that what's happened is that gosh, this is so hard to explain. It's so involved. Okay, so Terry and Eric Branstad, Terry Branstad used to be the
Still
used to be
talking
the
about this.
governor of Iowa.
We're still talking about this.
Terry Branstad used to be the governor of Iowa, and now he is the person in China who is, gosh, what do you call that? When they're, gosh, I can't think of the word.
Is he
Anyway.
an ambassador?
Ambassador to China. And his son, Eric, that was a teenager here in Iowa when I was a teenager, killed somebody.
I remember that.
And now he is over in China, and he is like the grain guy.
Right.
And it's just like, you guys don't get it how it's killing us. Iowa farmers, it's killing us.
Yeah, and
It is
we
killing us.
agreed to all that earlier. Like we were talking about like the state of the affairs up there, like the money and the finances behind it. Like, yeah, we had, and then she goes offline.
I think I think there might be a miscommunication somewhere. I think she felt like she wasn't being heard, and I think a lot of it comes back to there is a lot of interruption that does happen.
But did we not have a healthy conversation earlier about that? Like, I thought that was like an hour-long
I
conversation.
know, Travis. What you got to realize, you've had several people in here that are very upset with me for whatever reason. So I think, unfortunately, you're getting some shit that
Oh,
people don't like about me, man.
they can
And
kiss.
you know what, man? This is truthfully, Travis, I hardly ever go into anybody else's lives. This is why.
No,
Because
you're
if I'm
welcome.
live,
I don't.
I
don't
can
give-
control it.
I don't care
because
about
this is
followers
what
at
happens.
all.
Now,
I really don't care about
I
followers.
guarantee you tomorrow, someone's going to say, I was gaslighting a woman on your live, and people will be talking about it, and they won't know what they're talking about. It'll
Well-
be something else. Somebody will make a stupid video about me. And it's
Hey,
like, man, can I
will
just hang out with people and talk to them?
Dude, I'm going to put the entire thing on YouTube. Like, I'm like Kenzie. I have my iPad records all my lives. I'll put that up, and we'll try to find the gaslighting. Like, it wasn't there. And dude, she was on here for forever, and she had a great conversation because I was talking about the economy with another
Jennifer.
guest.
I don't. This Jennifer ladies, I don't even know her. She said I was mean to her 2 days ago. 2 days ago, I wouldn't even live 2 days ago. I'm like, what are you talking about? And
Yeah, I've got the entire
I
live
think
tonight.
thousands of
I've got the
people-
entire
Well,
live
okay.
tonight. Still recording on my iPad, so I'll just put it up tomorrow. I was very genuine to that woman. We were talking about world supply and demand issues, commodities markets, farming, Midwest America. We had this massive conversation that went for forever. And then I asked her, I think, I'll have to look at it. I think, because I said debates only on my green screen, can I cycle you out for a debate? And she said yes. And the person that was in the guest request was gone. And all that was left was you. So I was like, well, I've got no debate, so I guess we'll let Rudy on. And I was trying to get a debate. I don't know. Like, we talked for over an hour. Like, me, her, and Hipster talked for over a fucking hour tonight. Like, I don't get it.
it's nice to actually come in and talk to some Democrats and just hang out with you guys because, you know
Yeah.
what, okay, it's one issue out of freaking so many. I mean, I know how important it is. Okay, I'm not downgrading it, but there's so many more that I can damn well guarantee you that we're going to agree on. A lot of them, and it's like, can we just? Oh my God! And
So-
it's like, again,
So here's the
you're
thing.
never going to hear me tell you that you have to be pro-life. I'm never trying to make you pro-life. I'm never going to try to make Squishy pro-life. That will never happen. I'm not
And let
trying
me-
to push my belief.
And let me add to the Democrats in the chat tonight. So we are fighting a lot of fronts, okay? We were fighting mass unalivings to a reform. Then we were fighting the SCOTUS ruling. Then we were fighting the right after the SCOTUS ruling, which meant LGBTQIA plus rights. Now we're looking at fighting onto the gay marriage side. Guys, we as Democrats are tired. Those of us on the left are getting our asses kicked. And we're still out here every day doing this. We are still trying. And yes, true, it's two fucking white dudes in here, but we're fucking trying. Like, we are pushing on all fronts for equality, and we're getting our fucking asses kicked right now by the GOP. So can we not just have one night to chill and hang out? One? Like,
I think I've only
Okay.
been on your live like twice. You know what I mean? This is
yeah.
So my perspective is, and I am not, and if you guys have not caught on with me, I'm one of those people that no matter what you're feeling, your feeling is valid. You are allowed to have your feelings. I think, and I haven't talked to you very long, Rudy, and I don't know you very well, but it sounded like you were trying to do to me. What it sounded like you were trying to do, in my opinion, was trying to figure out when you had possibly been gaslighting her and possibly have wanted to learn how you could change your wording
I
or
honest
change
to
your
God, dude.
reaction.
Yeah, I honest to God have no idea what I did. I don't
Yeah.
know I honest to God, I seen a comment about me gaslighting somebody and I didn't know who said it, and then it was gone.
Yeah.
And then I said someone said I was gaslighting. Then she said it again, and then I'm like, oh, okay. How am I doing that? Who's Rudy? Sorry,
User,
It's me.
whoever's
The
KHLA.
moderate Democrat.
Rudy is the moderate Democrat. Like if you click on his profile, like it says Rudy at the top. Like if you click on mine, it says
And
Travis at the top. We
this
just on
is
the
my
left.
backup account.
Yeah, we on the left tend to refer to each other by their first name. So yeah, just like
Or Squishy if it's a nickname.
yeah, squishy. Like we've been out here, and I'm gonna tell you guys, like people are bitching tonight. You know, y'all got Rudy. I'm gonna give you a little insight here. I've got 5,000 and like I don't know 5,028 followers. Rudy did almost 200,000, and he's a friend of mine. Crazy Mother Runner has about half a million. A friend of mine.
Hmm.
We're all out here doing this. We are all out here doing this for you guys. And sometimes we might just need a break to piss and moan and hang out.
So I want to address something that Santa said. They sent it to you, Travis. The comment says, "All this TikTok discussion all this TikTok discussion is fantastic, but it isn't going to win our war." Here's the thing: is I think discussion is the good start because a lot of time, and there's people that has been
Squishy,
presented with the facts.
do you think he missed our entire discussion on mobilizing for midterms? Do you think maybe they missed that? Did we talk
I
about
have
it
a
like 20
feeling.
minutes?
Yeah, I have a feeling. So, and here's the thing: is my opinion on it is discussion is needed. Discussion puts a lot of us on an even playing field, and because unfortunately our schooling doesn't teach us how to look for unbiased. They tell you to look for unbiased sources, but they don't teach you the best way to find it. And the other thing of it is sometimes people's minds do change when presented with facts.
So American Bullfrog, my co-host, also a friend
American
of
Bullfrog, my
Moderate,
co-host, also a friend
is
of
somebody's
Moderate,
got echo.
Yeah.
somebody's got echo.
Hipster.
Yeah.
I'm gonna mute to see if
Yeah,
it's
I'm
me.
gonna drop and come back out.
I think it's hipster.
I think it's hipster.
So
Yeah. Okay.
here's the deal. One of mine and Rudy's mutuals is a woman named Carissa, who's big into local and midterm elections. We were talking tonight about how to mobilize for that, and Carissa is our point woman on that. So yeah, in the scheme of us Democrats talking about Democratic issues, even though we have some slight differences, where like I am like no rules on abortion and Rudy is pro-life with exceptions, we are all going down the same path, voting for the same people, trying to get them elected into office. And we spent like 20 minutes on it. Like it just seems unfair to hop in and say that we don't. Like we are absolutely busting our ass for this shit. Rudy's tired, Squishy's tired, I'm tired, Tommy's tired, Good Trouble's tired, Crazy Mother Runner's tired, Alina's tired, Groovy's tired, Mr. Jones is tired. Come on. Oh, Ziggy sent a request. Like we're getting our fucking asses kicked, and y'all went in and coming here and nitpick. Like Rudy said earlier, we got to come together as a team.
So Santa, I get where you're seeing it, and it feels like 99% of our conversations, when we have these conversations, don't change anyone's opinion, don't end up solving anything. But it is that 1% of those conversations that's another piece on our side of the playing field.
Yeah, and Rudy,
I
would you
wouldn't say
say?
it doesn't change. I've had
Rudy,
lots of
would you
times
say-
where people have said,
Rudy, would you say it's fair that we sit around and we talk about this stuff as liberals a lot? Like, do we not do this a lot?
Yeah, I've had this conversation on especially on abortion many a times. And
Yeah,
now that, of course, now that Roe has went down, I believe now the topic is so much more amped up than it was before. Now, when you're talking about it, people are, when I say I'm pro-life with exceptions now, before they wouldn't come at me as much. Now, when I say that, they really come for me because they think I am the same as these other pro-lifers, extreme pro-lifers. And I understand, but I would ask them to please relax. I'm not the same. I don't have the same views as them. I'm not a Republican. I am a hardcore Democrat, been voting Democrat since I'm 21 years old. I'm 42 years old. I've never in my entire adult life voted or supported a Republican. Not one time.
American
Not
Bullfrog,
one
that would be
single
fine.
time.
That would be fine if he backed pro-life candidates, which he doesn't. So even though it's a conviction
I will
of
tell you
his,
this.
he
If
votes for the
there's a- if
betterment
there's
of the
a candidate-
nation.
If there's a candidate and they are pro-life, okay? And they say, okay, I'm pro-life, and I look at it, and they don't want $15 an hour. They don't want to try to get a universal health care, some type of. They can tell me that they're pro-life, and they're shitty on everything else. I'm not going to vote for her or him just for the pro-life part. I'm not going to do it. I'm not a one-issue voter. Is it important to me? Yes. So if I vote for someone and I love the shit out of everything else they got, basically it's a cherry on the top thing to me. You know what? Okay, I got that too. I am not going to vote for somebody just because they're pro-life.
Yeah, and
So
that
you
says it from
mentioned
replying to American
something.
Bullfrog, because American Bullfrog, if you've been here for a while, I think Moderate has said about 50 times tonight, I am not a single issue voter. Single issue voters are Republicans.
Yeah,
Democrats like Rudy vote for people who support pro-choice.
I wouldn't have voted for Hillary. I wouldn't have voted for Barack Obama twice. I wouldn't have voted for Joe Biden. Come on. You know?
So,
Good
Moderate,
Lord.
you and I have another thing that we don't 100% agree on.
Oh, boy.
You mentioned the $15 an hour. I do not. So here's the thing: is from my own personal experience, so I grew up and lived in Washington State, which is a very high minimum wage. I don't remember what they're at now, but when I was living there, it went up to $11 an hour. I now live in Alabama, which is a federal minimum wage, which is $7.50 an hour, I think, or $7.25, somewhere in there. And here's the thing is I don't believe just raising minimum wage is going to work because of the fact that there needs to be a level of capping. So rent cap, price cap, things like that, especially on your basic essentials.
The problem with rent cap is I have a problem with rent cap because you're wanting to imagine that's, and what I always try to do, Squishy, is put myself in that person's shoes who owns the property.
Yeah.
That's a business for you. Imagine me coming and telling you what you can set your price for your property, which this is a business. This is how you're paying for your life. Now, if it's an extreme amount of money that they're asking for it, that person who is looking at that property has the right to go somewhere else. They don't have to go to that house. I look at if you're going in there and you're setting that landlord's price, and you're trying to control that person, how they run their business.
And I
have a problem
totally
with that.
see that. So I'm actually becoming a landlord. And so I totally 100% see that. The problem is there needs to be a stop on when something such a basic need, such as a living space, needs to be affordable. And I'm not talking, the 12-bedroom, $1 million mansions.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. But one thing we can do is help people learn with credit, because home ownership is one of the greatest things that anybody gets to do. If you get buying a home is always way better than renting all day long. Now, some people aren't going to buy it. You 100% disagree?
I 100% agree with that, because I actually, so I live in a trailer and I own the trailer I am currently in, and I actually am getting another trailer, and that's why I'm becoming technically a landlord, is because I'm renting the first trailer out.
Gotcha.
So I 100% agree, because one of the biggest things is a lot of rental businesses, unfortunately, such as apartments or trailer parks, their maintenance isn't worth it, and it's a lot easier for people to and get something fixed if they own it, because they can either pay someone else or, like myself, learn how to do it themselves, and hey, that's another skill in their tool belt.
You know what's crazy?
This is a system where it works in some places and not in others. I think that rent caps would work in an urban environment, but not out in the country, because a high density urban environment, if you're going to price everyone out of the city, then the city ends up having to bring in workers, and you're going to end up with mass commutes and all these other problems where people can't work where they live. But, out in the country, that's not, so there's a place for it. But I think blanket rent cap is nationwide
So-
and wouldn't be a good thing either.
Yeah, okay. So personally, I don't think I'm using rent cap correctly, and I'm going to call myself out on that. What I'm meaning when I'm saying rent cap is, so I have lived in my trailer park for 4 years. For 2 of those years, I was renting a trailer, and the prices went up almost 50%. And so that was one of the things, is when I say rent cap, I don't really mean like a certain amount of, like they can only set a certain amount of price for rent cap. I'm saying there needs to be a stop in these ridiculous raises of rent,
Oh yeah,
even for continuous tenants.
Yeah, I mean, I've looked on there, and you can go on to your Facebook yard sales of people written, and you can see houses, and you're like, they're wanting, for a full house, they're wanting extreme amount of money for the location. You're like, they're absolutely robbing people.
Yeah.
But it comes down to the consumer has to be smart enough to look at that and go, there's no way I'm paying that. I cannot pay that. I have to find something.
If you have a housing shortage, then and you allow things just to run amok, the people that are going to suffer are going to be at the lower end.
But if you don't rent the house at that price, the landlord, if it sits empty, you teach him, he learns that way or she learns that way, that look, my rent's too high. Just like anything, a market, if you're too high on it, you have to come down, because if you don't buy the product, it sits, and
But
people don't buy it. They hurt.
a shortage will drive the price up to the point that the poor and lower middle class can't afford it, and or if they can, they're having to, skimp on necessities. So
Yeah.
One thing I wish in this country that we would, it affects a lot of people buying homes and getting into a home, is doctor bills and being on. And I've never understood something with doctor bills is when you go to the doctor or you go to the emergency room, you do not have to pass a credit check to go into that emergency room. Why in the hell is a doctor bill on your credit report? And I know people will say some banks don't look at it, but I will tell you this: if you have bills, hospital bills on your credit report, they will eventually, here in Ohio, they will one after another, that you will get garnished, and it will hurt your credit score. It'll be on there; they'll see it, and it could hold you up.
Yeah.
Nobody.
And so,
I find it's completely asinine to me that we are allowing doctor bills to be put on credit reports and holding down. My mom and dad never got to buy a house together because of the medical debt that happened.
So I
there.
have 2 comments on that. Well, not on just the medical. I have a comment on the medical of the fact that some banks, when they look at your credit report, they actually don't look at itemized of why your credit's that way. They sometimes just look at the number, which is really sad, unfortunately. The other thing is going back to, you're talking about the overpriced housing, and I think that I personally wonder if you think that really does come back down to an education issue because, Travis, I'm sorry for doing this, but I'm 23, and when I went out, so I was a very lucky person.
Are you rubbing in that I'm 20 years older? Because I'm 43. Is that what you're
Well,
doing?
you told me to quit saying my age.
No, you're good.
But-
I just fuck with people about it. Look at the hairline; it's fucking awful.
Well, no,
Look at
I
this
just
shit.
want to say something to Rudy's point real quick about home ownership. And a friend of mine posted this meme on Facebook, and it's so true. If somebody is able to pay $1,200 a month in rent for a year, that should be proof enough that they can buy a house and afford say $600 a month mortgage payment.
Well,
Yeah.
you got to be careful there, though, because yes, you could be affording that, but also you could be not paying the credit card bill that you got. You could not be paying the car note that you got. You could be not paying your water bill on time. there's other stuff that you have to live in the house, right?
Yeah.
But you could be
Yeah.
not responsible in other areas.
But there's
So I understand.
Well, no. So here's another thing that's really
I can understand other
ridiculous.
financial stuff, but medical bills, I just never understood that, why it goes on your credit report.
there
When you
there are
do
lots of things that don't make sense, like your driving record. Like your insurance is going to be higher because of your credit rating, which to me has nothing to do with your driving record.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
That's
and
dumb.
I think to Rudy's point about banks not looking at medical debt, I would argue I would agree that they don't. I would agree that they don't look at it outright. But when the number one reason that people go bankrupt in this country is because of medical debt, I do think that it plays a bigger
and
part in it.
I'll
Okay,
share a
play
personal story on
lucid.
this. 5 years ago, or 6 years ago, like I told you guys, when my daughter was born, we got hit with a shitload. I mean, a shitload of doctor bills. Like I told you, my wife's our baby was in there for 2 weeks. That was $68,000. The surgery was $38,000. That wasn't including all the doctors that was coming up there. It's a shitload of stuff. So when it was all
Yeah.
said and done, these doctors were coming to us. The bill may be $8,000 at this doctor. They want $200 a month. They would not accept anything lower. So what we had to do, I had to basically go into what it was. It was damn near close to medical bankruptcy. Because of my credit card debt, my wife wasn't working, and then on top of it, all the medical debt. And luckily, I got a better job after we did that. It was 3 years. 3 years after that, we got our credit score back up. Ended up getting my dream car, buying this house that we got, because it forced us. If we didn't do that, we were going to be looking at one after another of garnishment after garnishment, because they would not take a reasonable payment.
So a small American healthcare life hack. It does not work, and I'm going to put this out here. It does not work for every place, but if you get a really random, if you have insurance and you get a really ridiculous deductible or anything like that, when you go in and to figure out what that bill is, ask for an itemized bill. Sometimes it will actually go down. And that just attests to some of the corruption in healthcare, but also it's just kind of something that does help you save just a few extra dollars. And especially in today's day, that few extra dollars does sometimes just go a long way. Now, I also wanted to address a comment of by Play Lucid, where they said, how will they save that, go into hibernation? I think what they were talking about was the fact that you can't get a mortgage and I've seen it, unfortunately, because it's happened to myself. You can't get a mortgage that's like $1,000 a month, but you can afford an apartment that's $1,200, and I think that's what they're talking about when they say that.
Yeah, rent at $1,500, but can't get a home loan at like $1,000.
Yeah,
poverty trap.
Yeah, I understand that's frustrating, but like I said before, some people got themselves in issues with other things, or credit card debt or whatever. They didn't pay it, and unfortunately, their numbers dip. And that's the problem.
Oh, I know that whole credit card debt a lot, because
and
unfortunately,
you're judged on that one number. That's it. You're judged on that one number. That's it.
Well, and I get that credit card debt a lot too, though, and I get that there's sometimes reasonable reason why, because when COVID had hit, I was not able to work during that entire thing, even though I had a job. And, it was one of those things that I had about 4 credit cards that I was on time with, I was doing really good with and whatnot. And then I ended up having to max them because I couldn't, I wasn't able to work. And because I had a job, unemployment wouldn't take me. And literally, so unemployment is ridiculous because I signed up for it. So I was told I couldn't get a job. I couldn't work in March. And in April, I filed for unemployment. And it took up until August for them to tell me, no, I didn't qualify for unemployment, even though I was doing all my daily calls or not daily, but weekly calls you're supposed to do. And so that's the thing is there's sometimes reason why there's a maxed out credit card is because I had to max all 4 of those credit cards out just so that I could, eat. And I wasn't blowing it on, a $1,000 TV. I was putting it into, my household needs like toilet paper when I could find it, food, things like that you can't pretty much live without. So it's ridiculous. And our credit system, unfortunately, is just so horrible, but it's also great at the same time.
Well, like what you were saying, that I think where we got here is that you didn't agree with the $15 an hour. And like what I'm trying to say is like what I was hoping what would happen, and most places are doing it, like our Kentucky Fried Chicken, okay? They're paying $13 an hour in there, okay? But what people don't understand, like I want the people in there who are working these jobs to get paid as much as they can, because most of these fast food restaurants and box chain people, these workers aren't even getting 40 hours. They're not getting 401k. They're not getting insurance. Like Walmart right. is probably one of the biggest drags on the system, because a lot of the people who work at Walmart are getting the government assistance health insurance.
Yeah.
And Walmart will get these huge tax breaks, but their workers are working, but they're not getting 40 hours, like I said, and they're not getting benefits.
And they spend that money at Walmart on their discount card, which goes back to Walmart.
And then they have the turnaround, and they're spending money right at Walmart just to survive like the rest of us. And I want those folks, because when it comes to the worker in America, I am hardcore where I want to take care of the American worker. I am a traditional Democrat where I understand corporate America is important, but without the American worker going in and clocking every single day, those corporate bonuses would be nowhere they would not exist without that American worker in there busting their ass and producing it. No one can match the American worker. No one.
And that's what Jones talks about a lot. Like if y'all have ever listened to Mr. Jones talk, he talks about it as having a fair share of your labor. And now we don't have a fair share of our labor. Like we put in 60, 70 hours a week. We don't have a fair share of our labor. We don't at all.
If you I would love to see Walmart get unionized. I would love to see it.
I would love it.
Okay, as a former Walmart worker, here's the problem. They put it in their contracts that you cannot be union, or you cannot get a union.
They can put all they want. They can put all they want, but you can form a union.
Starbucks just unionizes for a store up in I think Vermont or Delaware. They can absolutely do it.
Yeah, and what was it? The Amazon warehouse on Staten Island in New York City unionized.
I think it was
Bessemer, Alabama was a huge one that had happened. There was freaking protests and everything, and the only reason why I really know about that is because I live in Bessemer, Alabama, and it was crazy, and they weren't happy. Amazon wasn't happy about that.
I mean, if you look at Amazon, Jeff Bezos blasting his ass up into space, spending a ridiculous amount of money up there. Okay, he's got stupid money. My problem is that you're bragging, running ads saying you're paying $15 an hour for a warehouse job. I'm sorry, but $15 an hour when people at Burger King, McDonald's are damn near making that flipping burgers, and you're and there's nothing wrong with it. That's a good job. Okay, if that person wants to work at Burger King, and God bless them. But when you're going to a factory and you're working for Amazon, who's making billions and billions of dollars, and they're getting all types of subsidy from the United States government, I think that $15 an hour job should be paying $19 to $20 an hour. If you pay someone, people don't realize when you start at $15 an hour, but if you bump it up to $19 to $20 an hour, you're talking home ownership. You're talking people. You change people's lives by that $4 to $5 difference. It is huge. And if you've ever been a person working in a factory, just working, living paycheck to paycheck, when you get a bump like that, that's significant to you. That's important.
That's well, okay. And the other thing about it is, here's the thing: is he sits here and he brags about how well, he treats the Amazon workers, but a lot of people don't realize he now owns the streaming platform Twitch, and he just royally fucked over a bunch of Twitch streamers because of the fact that he took a percent. He dropped the percent of what Twitch streamers earn from their subscriptions, their bits, which is kind of the equivalent of TikTok gifts and all of that. It used to be like a 60-40, which really sucks, but now it's like a 70-30, if I remember correctly. I haven't been on Twitch for a while. I used to be a Twitch streamer. This is why I know a little bit about that. But yeah, no, it was just absolutely ridiculous how he was treating. He would put all the benefits into the company he's known for, but all these other little companies that he's got his hand in their pockets, he's doing so dirty.
I mean, the corporate welfare is crazy out of control. Like, its largest freestanding building is nearby, and it is so big that it gets weather systems inside the building, and Boeing paid less in property tax than I do.
It's ridiculous. I mean, like, look, I want people, like, I want Squishy to make as much money as she can. I'm a capitalist. I believe in America that you can be anything you want. If you put the work in and you got the effort and you got the drive, you can be anything you want in this country. No one can stop you if you got the drive. But I look at Jeff Bezos as he's the richest man in the world. I'm like,
yeah, by a mile.
And like, if you got that type of money, man, and you're bragging and running ads saying you're paying $15 an hour, I personally would be embarrassed of that. I'm not paying a livable wage. You're working these guys and gals in your shop ridiculously long hours, and you're paying them pebbles.
Everywhere he puts a warehouse, he's getting mass kickbacks from whatever city, whatever government, whatever state.
Well, and now he's trying to
think
do
it's going to bring jobs.
He's now trying to do company cities.
His employees are pissing in water bottles. They're pissing in milk jugs on delivery trucks. Like, is this what we were like born to wake up and do every day? Like,
yeah, and there's some of them.
Yeah,
there is some of them. So here's the thing: is my roommate actually works for Amazon, and he's enjoying the job, but it is that type of job that it was perfect for him because he likes what we call grunt work, basically. But the thing is they're still not great about it, and he sees the problems, but it's also some of it is blown way out of proportion too. Like, he's been able to get, just walk off the line. He let your supervisor know he can walk off the line and go to the restroom. So a lot of that is extremism from what I'm understanding. Now, I don't personally work at Amazon because I know my body cannot hold up to that, especially with a lot of my medical issues. But yeah, there is a lot of extremism, and I'm not defending Bezos at all. Do not take that as me defending Bezos, please.
No, I don't.
But yeah, it's also one of those things of it's questionable because of the fact that
Squishy,
I see.
Squishy, will you do me a favor? Will you stop simping for Jeff Bezos?
I'm not.
I couldn't help it.
I mean,
I'm good.
Okay, so everyone that's defending the system as it is, you just have to look and say something is really wrong, because my stepfather supported me, 7 sisters, and my stay-at-home mother with his one job. And we weren't rich, but we were comfortable. Nobody starved, and we had a roof over our head. Now you have families that are 1 or 2 kids. Both parents are working. Sometimes they take in a third roommate that works, and they still can't make ends meet. That alone's got to tell you something is horribly wrong in this country.
Yeah, there's I was talking about this to a group of clients the other day. I'm a financial planner. I was talking about how, companies don't want to give out benefits and stuff because it costs so much. So you've got, let's say 2 part-time jobs. at 22 hours a week each, 44 hours total a week, and you get fuck all back. There's no 401k match. There's no health insurance, no dental, no vision. Like, that's pathetic to me. Like, it's pathetic.
Yeah.
What?
So I don't know if you guys have seen the video, but it's Katie Porter. I believe it was Jamie Dimon, the head of JP Morgan Chase, testifying before her.
Yep.
And she goes through, I forget, she goes through an average single mother of two working 40 hours a week at minimum wage, and then itemizes all her expenses. And she comes out, and that single mother of two is coming out in the red every month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
okay,
it's not it's not
I'm
a
a
great
mom of
place
two.
anymore. Like, I feel like
I'm a mom of two who, okay, so I currently don't have my children, and that's a whole shenanigan on why I do believe that CPS, DHR, and DHS, and whatever you want to call it, is absolutely corrupt because of my story, but that's setting aside the topic. When I had my kids, I was working 40 hours a week plus overtime, and I was still, trying to make ends meet. I was taking jobs around the park I live in. I was taking every little side hustle, basically, I could. And I was still having months where I had to, I'm very blessed to say that I have a support system that, I can go, hey, I am short this much. Can I get help? And a lot of times I can get that help. And I am very much aware I am not every person. And there are so many people that cannot get that same help. But it's also one of those things of that is just a testament to how horrible our cost of living is, especially because I had days I questioned whether or not I could feed my kids. I've had days where I fed my kids and went to bed hungry.
Was this when you were at Amazon or at Walmart? Where were you when this happened?
Okay, so at the time I was working at PetSmart. I never worked at Amazon. My roommate works at Amazon. Walmart actually fired me for being pregnant. But you weren't making
enough money at PetSmart, though, to make a living, right? Like, you didn't have enough money there.
I was making $2 over minimum wage.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So minimum wage.
Was you getting 40? Was you getting 40 hours there?
I was getting 40 hours. I had weeks I worked 60.
Really?
And I
at PetSmart?
still, at PetSmart.
Wow.
I was.
Did they offer insurance?
No. They did not.
And see, that's the thing. That's the thing. But people get upset. Okay. When the worker is working at these places, okay, this is why the hourly wage is so crucially important, because the company is not offering health insurance. They're not offering 401k. They're not offering vacation. Okay. So the biggest selling point to the worker is that hourly wage. So if they're not offering anything else to the worker, you're trying to tell me you can't pay $15, $16, $17 an hour? Come on. It's embarrassing. You're embarrassing yourself by being a cheap ass business, and you don't want to pay your workers, and then you want to complain that you don't have the workers to fill your stores to put your stuff away. Well, man.